We're joined by the head coach of the Army hockey program, Brian Riley. Coach, thanks for joining us for a couple of minutes.
Zach, thanks for having me. Look forward to talking to you here. And even though you're a Yankee fan, you know what? Hopefully we won't have a discussion about the Yankees and the Red Sox.
Well, there's no baseball being played right now, unfortunately. I'm a Jets fan too, and we know I'm happy about the location of the New England Patriots former quarterback. But we'll start with some hockey and you and how you and your family holding up, and what's it been like trying to keep in contact with the team during this crisis?
You know what? I'm obviously trying to do what probably everybody else is doing from a coaching standpoint, is just making sure that you are reaching out and having contact with your players. And number one, making sure that they and their families are safe and healthy. And number two, making sure that they are doing what they need to do as far as hitting the books. And even though it's a different situation with the online learning, that they're getting it done in the classroom, but also from a physical standpoint, that they're doing what they need to do to stay in shape. Because I know when they come back here to West Point, you know what, whether it's APFTs or some type of physical test, that they're going to have to be ready to go.
Well, let's take a look back at your season. You guys had such a successful season, especially in the first half. You guys broke into the top 20. But then, unfortunately, because of this crisis, your season gets cut short before your playoffs even get to begin. And you see what those seniors went through and where they brought the program. How's that going to motivate the juniors and the sophomores and the freshmen to keep pushing to get back to where this team was this year and to go even beyond to push that team to new heights?
Well, first of all, just, you know, I think back to that Thursday when we had the team in the locker room at 1 o'clock, you know, thinking that we were going to be playing playoff series against Niagara and feeling really good about where we were as a team heading into the playoffs, and having to tell them that their season was over. I will never forget, you know, as I told them, just to kind of see the seniors' heads just drop. You know, it was just kind of like the weight of the world on their shoulders. It just, that they weren't going to be able to finish out their career on the ice. And I think what we've all learned from it is, and we talk about this at times, that you never know when your season could come to an end. And usually that's an individual, like a coach talking to his player saying, hey, you can't take anything for granted. And I think what we'll have learned from this is, as a team coming back, that, you know what, we are not going to take for granted anything. You know, just the daily day of coming up to the rink and practicing, and the games within the season. So I think we will have all learned a valuable lesson from this, and that is to make sure that, like I said, you never know when your season could come to an end, and that's why you got to give everything you have, and really, really appreciative of what the seniors gave to the program. And they did such a great job this year in I think leading our team, and they were obviously huge pieces to the puzzle of us having a successful season.
Well, you're in a unique position as not only coach of the Army hockey team, but you're also the father of a couple of captains on the Mercyhurst team, Jack and Brendan. You've been able to compete against them the last couple of years. What was that like to compete against them as a coach, but also to compete against them as a dad?
Well, exactly. Like during those games, like it didn't change. Even though I was a coach of the other team, I was always their dad. So from a parent standpoint, just really, really proud to see your kids out on the ice, even though it was for the other team. And but as a dad, just being really proud, because I know that growing up at West Point, their dream was to be Division I college hockey players, and they grew up watching the cadets, and to actually see them living their dream. I think one of the biggest highlights that I'll have is when we were playing Mercyhurst 2 years ago, and Mercyhurst, their coach, started both of them. So to hear both of their names called off, you know, from West Point, New York, and see them skate out onto the blue line was pretty neat. I didn't like the fact that they scored some goals against us, but lately, knock on wood, we've had a pretty good run. So, but it's just a real, I guess, proud parent moment to see your kids out there, and I'm just really, really proud of them.
I know it must have been something unique for you, and I'm sure you were happy and sad when Jack graduated, because I know he always had at least 2 or 3 points that weekend he played against you, whether it was over at Mercyhurst or here at West Point. So at
Yeah,
least he made it a
I
little easier.
remember. I was gonna say, I remember telling Jack after some of those games was like, "Hey Jack, did you ever think of doing this against Air Force and not Army?" Like, but I know that both of them, Jack and Brendan, big, big, big fans of Army sports. So when they weren't playing us, they were certainly pulling for us, and like I said, they watch all of the Army teams. So. But many, many fond memories.
Well, what have you been doing to keep busy outside of the coaching? I know a lot of your kids, if not all three of them, are home right now. So what's it been like kind of adjusting to working from home a little bit more and having the kids around a little bit more?
Well, I would say this, out of when something bad happens, and obviously the coronavirus it is terrible, awful. I mean, but the one positive I think that has come out of this virus is family. Um, the opportunity, because of people having to stay at home, and but really the opportunity to be around your family. Heck, we've had more sit-down dinners here than I think in the last 3 weeks than we've had in the last 20 years. But it's been really, really great just to be around the family, and so you kind of figure out a routine, right? Like what's normal now, like coming down to the kitchen table and getting on the computer. And I am not a computer savvy guy, but I've kind of these Microsoft team meetings, and now even being here with Zoom took me a little while to get connected with you, but just kind of learning the ropes there. But like I said, the most important thing I think is just having family time, which you can never get enough of.
Well, we're going to go outside of the box for this next question, but we'll stick with the family theme. And we all know the ties that your family has to USA Hockey. Your dad winning the gold medal in 1960, bringing Team USA's first gold. But 40 years ago, the USA Olympic hockey team defeated the Soviets, went on to win the gold medal. What are your memories of that game and where you were having such close ties to the program with your family?
So obviously everybody was really excited. I remember being in college and we didn't want to know the score of the Russian game. And of course, somebody blew it and told us that the U.S. had won, I think, after we came out from practice. But then I was actually fortunate to actually be in Lake Placid when they won the final game. And my dad was a color commentator for ABC Radio. So he was able to get one of my brothers and I tickets to the game. And the thing that I'll remember is coming out of the arena and just, Lake Placid isn't a booming metropolis. It's a neat little town, but everybody, people hanging from lampposts, and it was just really, really neat. And to be able to say that you were there to witness that final game is pretty special. But it's hard to believe it's been that many years. But hopefully there'll be another opportunity for the U.S. to win a gold medal in the near future.
Well, Coach, thanks for joining us for a couple of minutes. I know we're all looking forward to getting back to West Point. You guys are looking forward to getting back on the ice, and I'm sure we'll cross paths and have a couple of our Yankee, Red Sox, Jets, Patriots debates again real soon.
Absolutely. Look forward to seeing you in person here, and just appreciate all that you do for Army West Point sports.